Hey there, welcome to Final Fantasy XIV Completionist, the series where I try to take one step towards the impossible task of 100%ing Final Fantasy XIV every episode. After collecting over 300 triple triad cards and earning them out, I wanted to start a new goal that would push me to do different content I never tried before. With over 150 mounts to get, I'm going to have to learn tons of new jobs and game modes, tackle challenging content and huge grinds, all with the goal of unlocking every single mount obtainable in-game. So let's get started. Alright, just to start off the series, I want to go over the mounts that I plan on working on in the near future. I won't go over every single one I have and every single one that I want to have, just because that's so much to front load with this. I do want to talk about rules though, before we do that, just to set things up. There's not too many rules for this, it's really going to be kind of... most of the grinds you can't circumvent in one way or another, but just a few ground rules. One, I'm not going to be purchasing mounts for Gil on the market board, there's going to be no exceptions to that. Obviously, some mounts are only purchasable by Gil from vendors. That's fine. I am not going to be purchasing mounts from the market board at all. I'll be earning them the way that they normally drop, even if they're purchasable. I am not going to be carried for any of the content that I'm going to do. To the best of my ability, I am going to be learning the content. I'm especially not going to pay for any carries for anything, but I am not going to get carried for content, and on the same vein of that, I'm not going to ask people not to roll for something for the sake of this series. If I'm part of a mount farm or farming stuff with friends, anyone that needs the mount will be rolling for it, and I want to get it fair and square. Even if I get bad rolled and have to grind something for a while, that's just going to be part of it. That's part of what everyone has to deal with. So that is just a few rules to put into place there. If there's other things that pop up and we have to make adjustments to things, I will be adding to that, but those are the only ones I can think of that we really need. So let's get to talking about some of the mounts we'll be working on. So there's a site right here called ffXIVCollect.com, which I'm going to be using while I discuss what mounts I have left to do, what our progress is, because this site's really nice because it only is tracking, you can set it to only track mounts that are not premium, time limited, or unknown. So it's only the ones that are achievable in game right now, which is really helpful for my series. I could go through every single one of these and how I want to get it and so on and so forth, but I just want to kind of give you a rough overview. So I have 60 out of 157. It actually should be 59 out of 157, but I'm doing things out of order a little bit, so there might be a small spoiler on what we're about to see in the next clip if you look closely enough. But we have the Island Sanctuary mounts. I still need to get all of those, but that's kind of an overtime thing, and I can talk about kind of a good way to get all these Seafarer calories quickly. We have the Sacks of Nuts, which is from doing hunt trains, which is going to be another focus for this episode. One thing I need to figure out is a good way to get MGP. I know what the method used to be. I know the best method in general is to just do weekly stuff, but I kind of want to see what you can get over time if you really want to push it, because there are a lot of MGP mounts, including the Sabotender, which is 2 million, which is going to be the first one we're going for. Other than that, we have, and there's, to go back to the hunt mounts, there's some achievements for completing a certain amount of hunt mounts, or a certain amount of hunts of certain ranks. So there's going to be a long grind for this. Getting the Sacks of Nuts for these first few is just the start of the grind. Anyways, so we also have the tribal quests. The only one I have that is not a realm, the only one I don't have that is not a Realm Reborn tribals is the Kitari. I am almost there. I'm only a couple days away from getting the Kitari, and then I'm just going to be focusing completely on a Realm Reborn. Other than that, I think that's the main stuff I'll be focusing on that. But like I said, as we are talking about stuff, I'll go through some of the other sections. PvP is going to be a huge one. Achievements is a huge section. Trials and raids are going to be really big blockers. There's a lot of scattered, like really difficult grinds we'll be going through, but I just want to do like an overview of what we'll be talking about at least today, and then as we make progress and as we work on other things, I'll kind of jump back here to give you a look at where we're at. But like I said, we're at 100, we're at 59 out of 157 because I accidentally got one before I recorded this, which you're gonna see in just a second. So I've not come here yet, but I've talked about it. This is the Island Sanctuary that was released in 6.2, so it's one of the most, or is the most recent update, most recent bit of content that was added. And with this was added 4 different mounts that you can get, collect resources, you create things with it, you send it off to be sold, and it's kind of meant to be a more relaxing thing. But as soon as they added in, obviously, currency to it that allows you to unlock mounts, and since things are time gated, there's a lot of people that have sat down and tried to figure out the most optimal thing to do every day, because the things you can create at the start of the week will affect the stock of that thing by the end of the week. So if you look at the supply and the demand for stuff, you have the popularity of the supply of the demand shift of the predicted demand, and there's people that have kind of deciphered all of this and figured out for each day, as more information, as they catalog the information day by day, they can decide what to create every day. I will link the Discord for it in the description. It is called Poking Paradise. There is a workshop recommendations channel that has been very helpful, and I've been using that to get the island or the seafarers calories, and I'm at 25,000. So if we look in the shop, you'll see we have the 4 minions here, the most expensive one being just under what we have. I am going to start with the most expensive and work down. I think in a couple of weeks I should have all the minions though. But we also have, or mounts rather, we also have a minion. We have a cool pixie wing cosmetic, some emotes, some orchestration rolls, some furniture, a lot of dyes. But for our sake, we are going to grab the first of the 4 mounts, and let's go, and let's redeem that. Get the motorcycle mount. This is the first mount we've actually gotten on the series so far, which is very exciting. It's a really cool looking mount. Really like the motorcycle mount, so it's nice. I like the other mounts as well, probably more actually, the slightly less expensive ones. So something I noticed as soon as I stopped recording is that when you fly in the air with this mount, your exhaust pipes start shooting out fire, which I think is a fun little touch. So one thing I'll be doing in the background that I won't really be mentioning too much unless we get any of the mounts for them, or unless there's any progress or interesting things to discuss, I'll be doing the tribal dailies, and the tribal dailies are for each of these groups. You can improve your relations by doing 3 quests for them. For the Realm Reborn, you can actually do up to 12 depending on how high leveled you are at them, but the highest level quests will give you the most. So because once you get to rank 3 friendly, that's when you can get their mounts, so you buy them with Gil. The only other one I don't have is a Kitari, which I might actually already be able to buy it. I haven't checked. I don't know why in the last clip I was thinking that I would still be able to get it. You have to get Sworn, which is the next rank up, to get the mount. So I'm a few days out from getting that. We're close anyways. But it'll be nice to get that over with. This isn't really doing too much for me. I'm not getting any experience. It's a nice thing about doing the Endwalker tribal quest still, is because it's still giving me meaningful experience, because I'm always gonna have classes to level up. All right, so we're at the Gold Saucer, somewhere that I've spent way too many hours in, and this room specifically that I've spent way too many hours in. If you've been here before, if you've farmed a perfect chocobo or a racing chocobo to farm MGP with, you're familiar with this. I do have the 2 million MGP mount as one of my goals. So that's something you can kind of do passively with Fashion Report, with all the challenges that the Gold Saucer has. You can really passively build that up and get a lot of it if you just stick with those. But I'm curious, if I wanted to sit down and do Chocobo Racing, which I think is actively the fastest way to get MGP, I'm kind of curious where we can get to with that. So I am starting at 960,000. So we're almost halfway to the mount already passively, just by doing our weeklies. And I've not done the challenges yet for the Chocobo, so this is I'll have to counteract that a little bit, but I'll be curious to see with our funky chocobo that we have here. That's all maxed out and it's got the right race abilities and everything. I'm excited to see how well we can do, because that'll help me out in the future to know how many hours I'd have to spend here if I just wanted to do this. I just wanted to go straight for the 2 million MGP. So the next few clips will just be some racing, and then just we'll see where we get to after that. So this is chocobo racing in a nutshell. Imagine you spend hours and hours and hours just doing way too much effort trying to get the correct stats by doing these different pedigrees, like leveling a chocobo up all the way, doing all these different races with it just to retire it, try to breed with another chocobo, trying to get the right stats for it, trying to get the right stars and the right abilities for things, trying to get the right hereditary ability for it, so that you can pass that on, because one of your abilities is hereditary, the other one you can teach it. So you have to have the right hereditary ability. Imagine you do all this effort just to press one ability that makes you sprint the entire length of the shortest track possible. You use your other ability to increase your stamina once it gets a little bit lower, and then you just can kind of ignore a lot of the traps, and you either get nuked by the AI by meteorites, or the AI are just like 15 seconds behind you, and like this one. And yeah, that's chocobo racing, and I did this 20 something times in an hour, so it was like a race every 3 minutes or so. So yeah, fun times. As you can see from the buff at the bottom, we are done with the hour, and that was a lot less MGP than I remember making from this. I remember this being really lucrative, and I got first place, I'd say, like for 75% of them, and I only got last place once, and that was, we're not gonna talk about that one. But I got to 1,013,000. So minus the 26,000 that I got from the challenges, I got 26,000 an hour. So if I did this for the rest of the million, it would take 40 hours to get it if I was just doing this. So yeah, I don't think that's viable. So I need to either look into other stuff for it, or I need to just do my weeklies and get this overtime. All right, with this, we have completed the tribal quest line for the Kitari, and we can unlock the mount. Should just be in the vendor now. So we have the, not that one. We have the Ronkan flute for the great vessel of Ronka. And if we pop this open, we should get this now. So this is a mount I've been looking forward to quite a bit. Just, it's so wonderful. It's so silly. And I love the peculiar light. It's just so... The thing I like about the tribal quests is that you get to use the mounts before... get off my screen. Before you unlock them, so you get a taste of like, this is a wonderful mount. So this is cool. This is the final non-Realm Reborn tribal quest line mount that I needed. I'm still gonna keep doing this to get to level 8 so I can do the allied quest. But yeah, it's just a Realm Reborn is the main focus right now. Once I get those knocked out, I'll have all of these and that'll be a green section. It's not gonna happen in this video because it's gonna take me weeks and weeks. I am nowhere close to that, but it's really cool to get another one of these, tick up another mount for us to earn, so cool. The next day or two is mostly just me AFKing next to an Aetheryte doing hunt trains. If you're not familiar with them, there's these special difficult monsters that people can spawn by doing certain criteria in each area. And they're important because there's these milestone achievements for killing a certain amount of certain ranked ones, as well as you get sacks of nuts for each kill, which you can purchase one of 2 different mounts. However, the achievements, even if they're done really efficiently and passively, they're still going to take me probably over a year of consistent effort. And honestly, I'm at this point not doing them as consistently as I should. So that's probably going to be even longer. In the meanwhile, we got one of 2 kills I need for the Chi Fate. an Endwalker for the level checker mount. You get 6 of a certain item when you kill it once, and you need 12 of them. I also got a kill, one of the 2 kills I need for Formidable, for the Iron Frog mover mount. Like hunts, they're just kind of called out in various link shells or discords. I joined the Centurio hunts in the Floop Discord. The Floop Discord is a little bit better for customizing exactly what you want notifications for, if you want it for a certain expansion, if you want to only get notifications for a certain fate. So I've just been using that. And whenever I want to do hunts, I just turn on pings for that and watch out for that. But people just send in those things super duper quickly. Also killed Devadipa twice. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but there's no reason for it at all. I think I accidentally set it as a notification. There's no mount for it. You get like a chocobo barding and a wind-up mount for it, which is cool, but I just did that twice. So I don't have to do that really ever again, but I don't know why I did that. But that's where I'm going to end things off for this video. Honestly, recording the progress and tracking it much more closely for the series has been super duper motivational. And I'm hoping it kind of gets other people into completionist type goals if they're looking for something to do. Maybe they finished up doing Savage, or they're not interested in Savage and they finished the story. It's a fun little goal setting sort of thing and seeing the progression of it. I do want to say that I was inspired to try this out by similar videos for other games, namely Guides for Us All and Guns Chili for old school RuneScape. Even though I was in the middle of editing this video before it came out, Setter Spider's video about Dequapolis and achievement hunting was one of the only and definitely the most entertaining videos I've seen in terms of achievement progression videos for FF14. I'm sure there's one that already exists out there, but if not, I'd definitely be down to set up a completionist Discord for the game. Though I'm definitely a noob when it comes to how much of the game I've completed and how much I have left to touch, so there might be people more qualified. Feel free to leave any questions or comments, especially about the rules or progression or things you want to see in the future. I'm always happy to read them. Let me know how many mounts you've gotten actually, because I'm curious to see roughly like how many most players have and where I'm at this point. I've not actively gone for them until now. But for now, thank you for watching. There'll be another video in this series pretty soon, so insert YouTuber thing about hitting the sub button so you can make the number go up and give me good brain chemicals. But have a lovely day.